Hi, I'm going to talk about two different learning theories. The first one is cognitive development theory, and that's the learning through developmental stages. John Piaget wrote this theory, and it was thought that children learn through having hands-on experiences, and that the teachers evaluate them to make sure that they stay on task. And he used epistemologies, and it's a study of the origins and the nature of intelligence. So the goal with all this was to understand how children acquire knowledge and the abilities to decipher intelligence. There are three elements to Piaget's theory and that are used to understand this, and there's one called schemas, which are building blocks to help organize the knowledge. Two, adaptation, which is the process that enables progression from one stage to the other. There's the equilibrium is to balance them balance fundamental knowledge and their environment. And then assimilation is using existing information and being able to relate it to a new situation. And then accommodation, which is changing existing knowledge to meet and use in new information. Now, the four stages are sensory motor stage, birth to 2 years, and that one is to have object permanence, which is knowing that something is there even though it's out of sight. The next stage is pre-operational stage, and that one is using a word or an image to stand for an item. And the third stage is concrete operational stage. That one is beginning, it's from 7 to 12 around, and that one is beginning to have rational thoughts about things that they can work or see with. And then after that is the formal operational stage, which is 12 years old to adults. And this is thinking rationally about things, but they don't need them to be around. Now, the second theory is going to be the zone of proximal development theory, and that one is learning individually and progressing through the help of more knowledgeable adults and collaboration practices. The line of natural regression is something that happens when students, their knowledge diminishes to a certain degree after the instructor has left them alone to continue learning about their subject and reading about it. So they're not going to retain all of the information at first, so they might have to have the teacher come back in and explain a little bit. The next one on this is scaffolding, and that's building a foundation for the student until they're able to work on their own. Once the teacher feels like they can work on their own, they'll remove the scaffolding, and then the teacher will help when needed. And scaffolding is basically, if you think about like building a building, and they have the scaffolding on the outside, and they're putting all the layers that need to be to have this thing sturdy. So once they feel it's sturdy, they take all the scaffolding down, and then they come back when maintenance is required. That's how I think of scaffolding. Effective scaffolding is, like I said, they gain it, they maintain it, they emphasize on it, they demonstrate, and these are all important aspects of teaching. The next one is reciprocal teaching, and that is where teachers model and then help the students in a guided lesson. They summarize and they question and they clarify and they use predicting as the different tools to do reciprocal teaching. And with that, they have cultural tools, which are learning tools through social processes and along with interaction with others. Now, this is where more knowledgeable others comes in, and that's where educators are available when needed to understand tasks. The next part is the knowledgeable through social interaction. And this is where groups of students participating in activities together. So students over here may know a lot more than the student that just began the subject. So they'll just come in and then they'll help them learn and build up their knowledge. So that's what the two theories are. And the last thing is going to be collaborative learning. And that's where students should have, they're at different levels. And so they'll come in and have more knowledgeable peers help less advanced students. And so that way they can understand the lessons better as within collaborating with each other.